popular fighter here in Rhode Island, Peto Cardona. Even though he is from Hartford, Connecticut, he's got a lot of fans in the Rhode Island area, David.
And he delighted those fans last time at the Rhode Island Convention Center, as I said, with a knockout that hit the guy he knocked out was on the mat for over 2 minutes.
I was there for that
before they
fight,
brought
David.
him up, and it was just a heck of a combination.
It was a fighter named Andohar, and it was a devastating knockout. Cardona looked very, very impressive in that bout. He's fighting a cagey veteran here in Robert Tiger Parkman. Parkman is predicting a knockout. He said he's going to be very cagey, very crafty in there, and then he's going to go for the knockout. It's words, but let's see if he can back them up. He's going against a tough customer in Peto Cardona. Round one action. Cardona in the red and gold, and Parkman is in the gold trunks. It's a 6-round lightweight bout. We're scheduled for 6, and it is in the lightweight division. And I think Parkman is right about what he told me, David. He's coming out as a boxing style and using that cagey kind of foot movement and boxing style. Cardona undefeated and very impressive record.
As you were talking to Parker before the fight, he was telling you his strategy, and strategy is such an important part of boxing. A lot of people think it's just too slugfest in there, but it's a very technical fight, and there are numerous different strategies. It all depends on who your opponent is. So we'll see if Parker can stick to that strategy. Parkman can stick to that strategy against a very tough customer in Peto Cardona.
And Cardona is following Parkman around the ring. Parkman is using foot movement and the jab. He's trying to use that traditional boxing style to feel Cardona out here in the first round. And he's actually doing well with the jab. He's getting the jab in, and he's trying to use some combinations in there.
We have Peto Cardona in the red with the gold, and Robert Parkman in the solid gold.
And we're scheduled for 6. This is in the lightweight division. This is our third bout of the afternoon, David, and so far this card and this event has been nothing short of a big success already.
Oh, that's as expected. Championship Productions again putting together a great card for the fighting fans of Rhode Island, and we're only on the third bout, and already we've had 2 spectacular matches. This one promises to be as good as those, and we're all looking forward to the Intercontinental Championship bout coming up later.
And we've also got some other class fighters on the card. We have Louis the Viper Vita. He's fighting, and we're looking forward to seeing him. We've got Ray Suka Oliveira. We've got some good fighters. And now action is beginning to heat up here in round 1. As Parkman is dancing and using the boxing style, but occasionally setting down and throwing some combinations at Israel Cardona. No knockdown. That was just a slip and sort of a push. No knockdown. Referee Matt Natale right on the job there. Parkman in the all gold. Israel Peto Cardona in the gold and red trunks with the red boxing shoes. Round 1, 6-round middleweight bout here from the Fieldhouse on the campus of CCRI in Warwick, Rhode Island. Championship Productions, again, putting on a stellar boxing card, David.
And, of course, CityLife Sports, award-winning CityLife Productions, bringing it to the fine boxing fans of Rhode Island. They've been...
And what a treat that is, David, for people as we come to the end of... I want to talk about that at the end of the round. As we wind down here in round 1.
Action-packed first round.
A very snappy first round, David. Very snappy first round, and Parkman a clever boxer, and Cardona stalking. This promises to be this is going to be a good fight. But I did want to mention the fact that CityLife Productions putting these broadcasts together and these telecasts together, and it's a great opportunity for people who are boxing fans in the state of Rhode Island but don't quite get the opportunity to come out for whatever reason it may be, and they do get a chance to watch these bouts and see them on television and keep the interest going here in the state of Rhode Island. As when I say we, CityLife Productions and Championship Productions, bringing boxing back and reviving it here in the state of Rhode Island, which was literally a hotbed of boxing throughout the 50s and 60s, and now it's coming back strong. It's roaring back, quite frankly.
Well, until 6 or 7 months ago, you really couldn't find a good professional boxing card in Rhode Island with a search warrant, as they say. They just weren't available. Nobody was putting them on. Many of the nationally known fighters went to the casinos in Atlantic City and in Las Vegas, and that's where all the boxing action was. But Championship Productions is putting its best foot forward to try and bring the quality boxing, and they've come through tonight with a World Championship bout right here in Warwick, Rhode Island for the somewhat dormant fight fans of Rhode Island who are now being able to come back out and see professional boxing. It's a great compliment for Championship Productions and CityLife Productions for teaming up to bring it to the fight fans. And we're just starting round 2.
Very exciting to see that, David. Very exciting to see boxing back in Rhode Island as we begin here in round 2.
Cardona landing a left hook and followed it with a right.
But Parkman is willing to come back and exchange. Parkman undaunted here.
He had to feel those punches, but they didn't seem to faze him too much.
And he continues to work the jab and box and try and stay out of the way of Cardona. And he's landing some effective jabs, and he's willing to trade exchanges and combinations in there with Cardona. Oh, a big right hand.
Great right hand by Peto Cardona. Puts Parkman flat on his seat. Parkman didn't know what hit him. He's wobbly as he gets up. A stunning right hand out of nowhere.
A devastating right hand by Cardona, and it sent Parkman to the canvas, and he's still in trouble. And Cardona is looking to finish him here in round 2. And that shows you some of the power that Israel Cardona has. And he's starting to really clean up here on Parkman as he's landing combinations,
the
uppercuts.
The crowd is on its feet looking for the knockout, and Ed the Machine Regine, these are lightweights. Often you don't see devastating power in the fist of a lightweight, but Peto Cardona packs a punch. I tell you, I'm sure we're going to see that one on slow motion. That right hand came down and put Parkman flat on his seat.
Very reminiscent to the shot that he put Andujar away with in his last bout, David. Devastating power in the right hand of Israel Peto Cardona. And he's got Parkman still hurt, but Parkman is trying to stay out of the way and jab and move and use footwork to stay out of the way of that right hand.
And that's some of the strategy I was talking about earlier. A good fighter has to know when to mix it up and when to stay back. And Parkman trying to use the jabs and stay away.
And now Parkman is willing to exchange, David. And some good action here in the center of the ring, and now Cardona comes back. And this is a tremendous bout here in round 2. And Parkman has slowed Cardona down with that exchange.
Cardona throwing a lot of punches in that round. Sometimes after that, a fighter gets punched out towards the end of a round. Throwing punches sometimes takes more energy than receiving them. And Cardona.
Parkman has seemed to have gotten his feet back up under him, and he may be able to last this round. 10 seconds left, and it looks like he's going to survive here in round 2 and actually come back to give Cardona some of the stuff that he was throwing at Parkman as they exchange wildly at the bell here in round 2.
What a round, what a round.
Tremendous action. And the crowd is on their feet, David. Non-stop toe-to-toe slugging action there in round 2. Israel Cardona does not have an easy afternoon in front of him. This Parkman is a tough kid. He come to fight. He's cagey. He's strong. He took the best that Cardona had to offer. He got up, and at the end of the round, he was actually dishing out as much as he was taking.
By the end of the beginning, he started the round on his seat. Cardona hit him with a great right hand, and he ended the round on the offensive. He had Cardona backed up against the ropes.
He showed excellent
great comeback in that round, excellent resiliency in that round.
And good recuperative powers as he cleared the cobwebs, got his feet together, and was slugging it out at the bell and actually landing effectively on Cardona.
Parkman had the momentum at the end of that round. His corner is going to try and keep him with that momentum, and they come
and
right
Parkman,
out.
And they're slugging it out. Parkman has come here, and he has really put on a show for these people. He has proven to be more than a worthy opponent for Israel Cardona. Peto Cardona undefeated. He's really got a tiger by the tail in this match, David. Round 3 was scheduled for 6 in the lightweight division, and it's a question if this thing is going to go 6 rounds the way these guys are slugging it out. The only knockdown in the fight has been Parkman. Cardona dropped him with a hard right hand in round 2. Round 3, and now things have settled down a little bit here in round 3 after a very stormy round 2. Good right hand by Cardona. He continues to score with that right hand. But Parkman keeps jabbing and using his footwork, and he's still holding himself pretty well in there against Cardona.
Coming into this fight, we knew Peto Cardona threw a good punch, but we never really saw him challenge. Another good right hand. We never really saw him challenge, but he's showing here tonight that he can take a punch. Parkman hitting him square on some of these punches, and Cardona is staying right in there. And these two are toe-to-toe.
Back to toe-to-toe slugfest action here in the middle of round 3. Israel Cardona and Parkman. I know he has a nickname. What is it? Tiger. And you know what? He's proving to be a Tiger in there today.
A fitting nickname at that.
Tiger Parkman from Manchester, Connecticut, and Israel Cardona from Hartford, Connecticut. They're literally neighbors. But they're not using neighborly tactics here this afternoon.
Cardona lands with a right uppercut.
Referee Matt Natale has very little to do here in this fight, as these boys are just standing there and slugging it out toe-to-toe, and really not clinching or grabbing or any of that stuff. It's just exchange after exchange with these two guys.
I was saying earlier in the last round that the fight had turned technical, and just as I said it, the slugfest began. So anything can happen in this fight. They're switching back and forth. Again, this round more of a technical round.
And Cardona scores with a good right hand at the bell. Well, we're halfway through, David, of this 6-round lightweight bout, and I've got to say it's been a tremendously entertaining bout. A lot of action, knockdown, good punches, good exchanges, good combinations. Two very fit and active fighters in there, and well matched. And kudos to Championship Productions for putting these bouts together as competitive as they are and as entertaining as they are for the crowd that we have here today.
Absolutely, the crowd appreciating the matchup. They're getting excited at the end of every round. As we look into the corner of Peto Cardona, I see Jimbo Espadula giving him some instructions, applying some of the Vaseline on his face. What are you saying to a fighter in the third round, Ed? You were a boxer in your day.
Oh, I've had many fights in my day, but what you try to tell him is to, stay focused on what he's doing, try to take advantages of his opponent's weaknesses, some of the flaws that he's seen in the opponent after the first 3 rounds, and try to capitalize on that. And basically, that's the strategy that he'll be getting.
Well, you're saying Peto Cardona, he landed a few good rights throughout this fight. Maybe he'll stick with that strategy to set up the big right hand that put Parkman down in the second round.
Tiger Parkman, he's staying with the another big right hand by Cardona. But Parkman continues to stay with his strategy of sticking and moving, and then combinations and getting in and out.
Parkman throwing a lot of combinations. We saw it just there when he had his back against the ropes.
And when Parkman is hurt or stunned, that's when he fights back, and that's when he starts flailing with combinations. He has good instincts as a fighter.
It almost seems as though he needs to get hit first and wake him up before he gets going. But I tell you, I didn't think he was going to get up from that right hand. He was very wobbly. I didn't think he was going to last the round, and he came right back and actually gained momentum. And
he showed excellent recuperative powers to finish that round and finish it strongly. And he accounted himself well in round 3, as we are here in round 4. And Cardona using that sort of peekaboo defense, David, with the gloves up in front of the face. And, that's able to absorb a lot of the jabs that Tiger Parkman is throwing. They're landing on the gloves and really not doing that much damage because of that peekaboo style. The disadvantages to that is you tend to leave the midsection open. And we've seen that Parkman has gone to the body several times here, trying to capitalize on that. But as you see just there, they both level down with right hands. They both missed, but those are the types of punches that can end the fight in a hurry. We're midway through round 4 here. We're scheduled for 6. Israel Peto Cardona and Bob Tiger Parkman. A very competitive and entertaining bout. And now Cardona is scoring again.
I tell you, these two are two punching machines. They're standing toe-to-toe and just wailing at each other. And it's very exciting for the crowd. And some of them eventually will land. And maybe we'll see another knockdown or perhaps a knockout. But Peto Cardona being pushed to the limits here today by Tiger Parkman.
Some of those punches that he's landed on Parkman would take another fighter out, I believe. And there's another good right hand that stops Parkman in his tracks. So Cardona is scoring again heavily. But again, Parkman is willing to come back and exchange, and he's landing on Cardona. Good combinations by Parkman. He is certainly undaunted and unafraid. Robert Tiger Parkman against Israel Peto Cardona.
Parkman trying to make good on his promise to you, Regine, for a knockout in this fight. He's got a long way to go.
That's what he said to me. He said he was predicting a knockout, and he said he was cagey and a young veteran, and he's proven it here. He's proven it here this afternoon. He's been able to take the best that Cardona has to offer, get up off the canvas, and continue with his strategy of boxing and moving and throwing combinations. As we come to the close of round 4, more good slugfest toe-to-toe action as the bell is about to sound here in round 4, and there it is.
Another spectacular round.
And listen to that crowd, David, how they're enjoying this bout. They are certainly getting their money's worth here early, and we have great bouts to come. So this is really, really a spectacular card that Championship Productions has put together here today.
Another aspect that we failed to mention so far is the last card from CityLife Productions. As we all know, Louis the Viper Vita took on former world champion Livingstone Bramble, and he was the headliner. And there was a lot of hoopla around that card and around that fight. All the news stations were there. And Championship Productions brings Louis Vita back tonight in the undercard. It just goes to show the quality of the card here tonight to have a former headliner as an undercard, and he also has a tough matchup.
Good point, David. We've got really a main event fighter, and he's fighting in the semifinal. So that goes to show you the caliber of fighters we have here this afternoon that we put together here, Championship Products. Round 5 about to begin here. Both fighters coming to the center of the ring, and it's been an action-packed bout, David. And you got to believe with that knockdown that Cardona is slightly ahead on the scorecards.
But I wouldn't count out Tiger Parkman yet. He's shown he can come back, and he has gotten up off the canvas and landed some good punches of his own. So we'll see. The last 2 rounds, 6 minutes to go. We'll see who's standing at the end. Another fine right hand by
Cardona. Continues to score well. You know, Cardona hasn't been fighting that long, but what he did tell me was he coached the PAL, you know, that for the young fighters. For 12 years, he was a coach. So he's a well-schooled, self-taught kind of a guy who can also teach the fine art of boxing. So, you know, he's very professional, very within himself in the ring, and he's doing a nice job here against Robert Tiger Parkman. And Parkman from nearby Connecticut is also showing that he is the cagey veteran that he said he is, and capable of handling someone of Cardona's ability.
Cardona lands with the left hook.
Cardona continues to score against Parkman. Another big right hand, and now Parkman is hurt and down. And when they go face down, David, they very rarely get up. I will not see Parkman getting up. When a fighter goes down face first, that's pretty much the end of it. And Peto Cardona, again, showing that tremendous power that he has with lefts and rights to Bob Tiger Parkman, setting him face down. And when you see that, you know that that's a knockout. And that's just what we saw. Israel, Peto Cardona, continues his unblemished record, remains undefeated with a really devastating knockout here against Robert Tiger Parkman. Really indicative of his punching power, and we did see that last time Championship Productions had Cardona on the card when he flattened Andujar.
And these weren't halfway knockouts. I mean, these fighters went down quickly and they went down hard. Cardona brandishing great power in his right hand, and he put down Parkman. I'm sure Parkman didn't expect to be knocked out tonight by Peto Cardona. Actually, he expected to win by knockout. But Cardona showing the power that he has. Not only he took a lot of punches tonight, Peto Cardona, and he absorbed those and still had the energy in the 5th round to knock out a fine competitor.
Let's go up to let's get the official from Joe Rocco. And listen to the crowd, David. They're loving it. They're loving every minute of it. And listen to how appreciative this crowd is of what they've just witnessed here.
And we know that all the viewers of City Life are sitting at home, and they appreciate it as much as the live audience is here today.
And Israel Peto Cardona has Peto Jr. in the ring like he did last time. And that's great to see. It's great to see. Back here at ringside at the Fieldhouse Brawl here on the campus of CCRI, CityLife Productions and Championship Productions, and we're ready for an 8-round junior welterweight bout, David, with Sugar Sucre. That's Ray Sucre Oliveira. Not Sugar, Sucre Oliveira.
Sucre Oliveira, ranked number 3 in the world. A very promising fighter. A title fight in the near future is waiting for Sucre Ray Oliveira if he keeps on winning, and a very worthy opponent tonight in Manuel El Toro Batista, who's a veteran. He's 27-8, and he has 15 knockouts. So Batista's been in the ring for a while, and I'm sure he's ring savvy, and we'll see what he can do against a very promising fighter in Sucre Ray Oliveira.
Oliveira with a very impressive record. And as we begin round one here, Sucre Ray Oliveira against Manuel El Toro Batista. And I don't think Oliveira will be able to take a respite here. I think he's got to concentrate. If he wants a championship fight, he can't afford to let himself be lax or kind of down for this fight, David. I think he must take this opponent seriously.
Well, a good boxer takes every opponent seriously. Ed Regine and Oliveira is coming into this fight knowing that El Toro Batista is a very worthy opponent. And I was talking to him before the fight. He said he's trained very hard. He's looking forward to the future, but he's not overlooking Manuel Batista. And this fight getting national coverage, so it's a good showcase for Sucre Ray Oliveira to show his talents. And we're bringing it, of course, to you on City Life Sports. But this is also being shown nationally and in 5 countries around the world.
Oliveira, the taller of the two fighters, in the long white trunks, and El Toro Batista in the black and gold trunks, the shorter fighter. And Oliveira is jabbing and using the classic boxing style, and Batista trying to get in and under. So that'll be the early strategy here in round one. Referee Mike Benitez back in officiating this one. Did a very fine job in the opening bout. We have great officiating here. Another feather in the cap of Championship Productions. Quality boxing, quality officiating, truly a professional presentation here.
Well, generally, the more equal that the opponents are, the less the referee has to do. They just fight it out evenly, as has been the case here this afternoon. When you have a real lopsided match, that's when the ref is stepping in all the time, and one boxer is clenching and one boxer is holding, and it's really lopsided. But generally, when you have an evenly matched fight, the referee doesn't have much to do with the outcome, and he stays away as the referee is doing in this bout.
Midway through round one here, and Oliveira is trying to establish the jab and the boxing and the foot movement, and Batista looking to pick his spots and find openings in the defense of Oliveira. Oliveira covers up nicely when backed into the corner and against the ropes. And he uses that spin move to get out of there, David. A classy fighter, Sucre Ray Oliveira.
The crowd still filling in here this afternoon, anticipating the championship bout. Seats filling up. Everybody seems to be enjoying the card so far. I know I am. We've had some great bouts. Some knockouts, some good technical fighting. Really a fine showing so far by Championship.
It's been an exciting card, David. And a little headbutt there by Batista. He's warned by Mike Benitez. And Oliveira looks a little disappointed with it. You know, Oliveira is coming off a win in Atlantic City over Charles Murray, who is a world-class fighter. So Oliveira has national exposure, and he's been on national TV before. I don't think he has any butterflies at this point. He's been in front of the bright lights before.
Sure.
He's 26 years old, Sucre. Tall fighter for a welterweight, 5'11", right around 140 pounds. He's from New Bedford, Massachusetts, so again, another local favorite. This is our fourth bout of the afternoon, and the first three have been nothing short of great, and this one here, starting off, looks like another tremendous matchup here.
Right, this one's scheduled for 8 rounds, so we may see a little more of the boxers trying to implement their strategies, and this match may not be as quick as the other ones, because in a 4-round fight or a 6-round fight, the boxers just don't have the time to really try and figure their opponent out. But this is an 8-rounder, so we may see a little bit more strategy in being displayed in this bout. And as we saw it right there, as the boxers came out, stood in the middle of the ring, and both were waiting for the other one to make the first move.
I think that held true, as we saw in round one. Both fighters with kind of a feeling out process. Oliveira jabbing and stalking, and Batista trying to get underneath and look for openings on the inside. Oliveira with the height and the reach advantage, and he's going to use that in his favor here in this bout. We're just into round 2 here. 8-round junior welterweight bout. Sucre Ray Oliveira against Manuel El Toro Batista, as we are live from the Fieldhouse here on the campus of CCRI in Warwick, Rhode Island. where today you will be seeing later on the IBF Intercontinental Cruiserweight Championship. John, the American Dream Andrade, against Jimmy James from Virginia Beach, an undefeated fighter, 8-0 with 7 knockouts. So everyone is in deep anticipation of that one, David.
There was a little tension at the weigh-in yesterday as the fighters were getting weighed in. John Andrade was there, and he weighed in at 189, just under the 190 limit. And when Jimmy James showed up, he was a few pounds over, so he had to go and lose a few pounds to make weight, and he did that with no problem. Took him about a half an hour, and they both said they were in the best shape of their life, and they're ready to win the title, and that's coming up later here this afternoon.
Well, it's good that Jimmy James said that he is in good shape, because when a fighter has to lose a few pounds in a hurry, it can debilitate the fighter and hamper his stamina in the ring. So hopefully that won't happen this afternoon, as you know, we're anticipating a very competitive championship bout. But we are here in round 2 in this super welterweight bout with Sucre Ray Oliveira against Manuel El Toro Batista. Batista with a very impressive record, David, and he shows that he's a professional in there. He knows his way around. He's got good ring generalship, and he's quite capable in there. He has a 27-8 record with 15 knockouts, and that's a pretty impressive record.
Yeah, and he just landed a nice left hook on Sucre Ray Oliveira. In this round, he's been Batista's been stalking Oliveira all around the ring.
He's been pressing the action. He's showing the aggressing. He's been the aggressor in the fight, and he's had Oliveira covering up against the rope several times here in round 2. Hasn't really landed anything damaging yet, but he is applying pressure on Oliveira, and that can tire a fighter out with a fighter leaning on him and pressing him against the ropes.
And that may come into play in the later rounds. As I said, it's scheduled for 8 rounds. And that may be part of his game. That may be part of Batista's game plan here this afternoon.
And good action here as we end round 2. Good crisp action here in this junior welterweight bout between Sucre Ray Oliveira and Manuel El Toro Batista. And the crowd is, we pretty much got this place filled up at this point, David.
Crowd is poised for some excitement later on in the championship bout. And we're joined here by
here they are.
That we just saw.
Up, man?
Hey, how you doing?
Fine rendition of the national anthem.
It's great to have the group twice here. They just did a tremendous rendition of the national anthem, as you well heard. And we got a couple of the guys right here. And you guys want to introduce yourselves?
My name is Manny Bowles. I'm part of Twice.
And my name is Frank Reese.
And you guys, do you work a cappella all the time?
No, we're at the Coast Guard House, which we're there every Friday and Saturday. And the Coast Guard House has been home and where we actually put the group together. And now we're doing real well. And we just want to thank Mr. Frank Caprio and his son and all the guys.
David, yes. David right here. We got David here.
Yeah, and Mr. James.
Mr. Birchfield, because the classic restaurant is definitely on top of everything. And we're there on Thursday nights.
Now,
how about City Life?
CityLife Productions is #1.
You guys want to stick with us for this round? Just kind of hang out with us? Because I want to ask you a couple of questions as we look at the action here in round 3. Basically, where can someone see you guys? Because I know based on what they saw today, they're going to want to catch your act. So
every Wednesday we're usually at Tribeca, which is on Chestnut Street in Providence, and we do Thursdays at the Classic Restaurant. And
then we do the Coast Guard House every Friday and Saturday. And then we periodically do a lot of private functions. So, we usually have a good, a fair, large amount of a mailing list that people can get on.
So. Oh, that's great. That's great. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to come and check you guys out. You did a great job. Now, yes. I want to get into the boxing, and now that we got that out of the way, we're going to get into the boxing. Something else you wanted to say?
Also, we're at the Cliff Walk Manor every Sunday from 7 to 11. So.
Terrific. Okay, we got all the plugs in. Now, what about today's card? You enjoying the card so far?
Excellent. I know Sugar Ray. He's a great fighter out of New Bedford, and I noticed that Sugar Ray, every time he hits him with that right hand to the body, that he seems to slow up. So I think if he stays with that body attack, the fight probably won't make 6 rounds.
Sugar Ray is a world-class fighter. We've seen him on ESPN, and he's been on Championship Productions before. He's a tremendous fighter, and he's looking for that championship shot. But he can't afford to stub his toe here against this Batista.
No, absolutely not. The guy's a tough guy. He's in the form of he reminds me of that the cruiserweight fighter there, Braxton.
He looks a lot like Dwight Braxton, who later became Dwight Muhammad Khoury.
Right.
He's a strong fighter. He keeps real low, and he's got some power, but he just really definitely has to watch out for him.
I think he'll be stopped by an uppercut. Excuse me.
Well, we have a prediction here. We have a prediction that El Toro will be stopped by an uppercut.
I think so.
And Ray's not even wearing red trunks, so
No.
he's fighting the bull, El Toro.
He's a matador, though. He's a matador, yeah.
He certainly is, and a ring general in there.
And he's a beautiful guy. I love what Mr. Bridgefield and Mr. Caprio are doing. They're giving a lot of great young talent the opportunity to fight. And I tell you what, even back in the days of the Depression, that was the only thing that we had. And it's good to see this come back. And I tell you, Rhode Island can't thank these two guys enough.
Isn't it great to have boxing back in Rhode Island?
It really is. I was brought up on boxing with my father, and I think it's a great tribute to Rhode Island and their fighters here, because for a long time they said that Rhode Island didn't have good fighters, but they didn't know most of the good fighters came from New England.
That's correct. We've had some of the best fighters in the world come right from this area. We have a little break in the action here as one of the logo signs has come down from the corner of the ring, and referee Mike Benitez has stopped the action here. Now we've got to clear out of the way, and we're back to the action here. You had to be impressed with some of the fighters you've seen already.
Oh, yeah.
I think that the young sizzling Sam Gerard was great, and Curtis Mumbelli also looked great today.
He's great. He's great. I know he is actually from another country, and he came in. He's living here now, and that's another feather in the cap of Mr. Bridgefield and Mr. Frank Caprio, that they're taking people from other countries, bringing them right here, and giving them the opportunity to box in this area, not just locally, but putting on cards like I've seen some of the stuff that you guys advertise, and ESPN. I mean, great fights.
Oh.
Here comes that uppercut.
There was a good right hand at the end of the round there from Oliveira. And you got to be impressed with Israel Cardona. What do you guys think of him?
That was great knockout.
I tell you what, in a year, he might be a contender.
He looks like a world-class fighter.
All the moves. He's a baby Alexis.
And we got to come and check you guys out.
Definitely do that.
We got all the places where you're playing. We're going to have all our fans come down and check you out. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, Don.
We're right here with the group twice. They did a great job at the national anthem. We're going to check them out in the clubs. And thanks. Hey, thanks for coming by. All right, you guys are great. Someday we'll hook up, do a show together. Take care, guys. Okay, that was the group twice, David, that stopped by for a little interview and a little fight talk, and that was a lot of fun.
Twice is becoming the official national anthem singer of Championship Productions. They do a fine job.
They did a wonderful job.
All four members of Twice could be stars individually, and they choose to stay together, and they go throughout the state of Rhode Island and really pack in the crowd every place they go. And we're pleased to have them here on Championship Productions and bring them to you on City Life.
Getting ready for round 4 here with Sucre Ray Oliveira. Oliveira and El Toro Batista. And I think the feeling out process has now been done, and we're going to get down to some fighting here, David.
We saw that right off. Oliveira came out quickly. And
Oliveira using the dancing style now, up on his toes and sticking and moving, David, in this round 4, early in round 4. And at the end of round 3, he did land a very hard right hand to Batista. And it seemed to shake Batista up a little bit right at the end of the round.
Again, as we enter the 4th round, now you'll see conditioning starting to play a part in the rest of the fight. 4th round, 5th round, this is scheduled for 8.
Both fighters look like they're in excellent condition, Dave.
Here we see Oliveira with his hands down by his waist. Not a recommended starting file for many people, but he seems to think that he can fight with his hands down by his waist.
When a fighter has his hands down like that, David, he must feel confident in his quick head movement, because that's what will get you out of the way of a punch in a hurry, is that quick head movement.
As we saw right there.
As we see right there with Oliveira. And Batista is, continuing to follow Oliveira around the ring, trying to find an opening. But Oliveira right now is pretty much dictating the action here. But it's a very competitive and a very well-matched bout, as they all have been today.
The fans here are being spoiled by one tremendous bout after another. We haven't seen any fall downs. We haven't seen any mismatches. We've seen every bout be a very competitive and exciting bout. And here, which is the 4th.
This is round 4 in the 4th bout. So we've seen a lot of boxing already, and there's a lot more to come. We've got the Viper Vita coming up. We've got the IBF Intercontinental Cruiserweight Championship. We've got a great heavyweight bout coming up. So there's lots more action to come here on Championship Productions, and it's all being brought to you by CityLife Productions.
CityLife Productions, Joe Caprio really doing a tremendous job bringing boxing amongst a lot of other entertainment. Joe is encompasses all aspects of the events that go on in Rhode Island, and I know he films you on occasion at the Machine Regine when you do your comedy show throughout the state.
That's correct, and I had the pleasure of having Joe film me just recently. In fact, it was Thursday night at Mayor Cianci's inauguration at the Providence Performing Arts Center, where I performed with Robert Goulet, and Joe was there, and he taped it, and kudos to Joe for doing that, and much thanks to him.
Joe putting in endless hours.
I can't say enough about Joe Caprio and the help that he has given boxing and even entertainers here in Rhode Island by videotaping their shows and getting their stuff on tape, and it's just a wonderful thing that Joe does, and it's great to have someone like that in the state of Rhode Island helping Rhode Island talent and Rhode Island entertainers and sporting people.
City Life, as you all know, is on the Interconnect. It's the state access channel. And a few years back, when the Interconnect first started, they had almost like an Emmy or Grammy Award ceremony every year just for local access channels throughout New England. And City Life swept the awards. They won an award in each of the 2 years, and everything that they were entered into that on each of those shows. And since then, they haven't had the awards anymore. But in every opportunity City Life had to win an award, it has won it.
And I think that people who come to these matches put on by Championship Productions can see that when they watch it on television and they see the production that comes out, the quality and the professionalism. I think they understand why that awards would be given to City Life Productions for that.
So our hats off to Joe Caprio and City Life Productions on the cutting edge of sports entertainment.
Right here in the Ocean State, Rhode Island. And it's great to see boxing flourishing again here in the state of Rhode Island.
And City Life playing a large part of the renaissance of boxing in Rhode Island, bringing many of these matches to the great boxing fans throughout the state. So a lot of credit to be given to City Life Productions.
We're getting ready for round 5 here in this 8-round welterweight bout between Sucre Ray Oliveira and Manuel El Toro Batista. And up until this point, it's been an action fight, a well-matched fight, and I think that unofficially on the scorecards, you have to say that Oliveira is slightly ahead.
He is slightly ahead. He's been dictating the momentum of the fight, and he just seems to be in control of this fight, but there's still 3 rounds to go. And
Oliveira quick on his feet and good head movement to be able to get out of the way of the punches of Batista. There have been no knockdowns in the fight. Oliveira, the taller fighter, in the long white trunks, and Batista in the gold and black trunks. And we are in round 5 here, live from the Fieldhouse at CCRI campus in Warwick, Rhode Island. And so you can hear the fans getting into it again, David, as you can see Oliveira now setting down on his punches and putting a little more authority behind them.
The fans looking for some exciting action. They want to see a knockdown. They want to see much of the action that we've seen in each of the prior fights.
They've seen a lot of action up until this point. They've seen Peto Cardona with a devastating knockout. They've seen Curtis Mumbelli stopping Eric Serra. And in a very competitive first bout, they've seen Sizzling Sam Gerard do a nice job here as a Providence native boxing in his home state here of Rhode Island. Good right hand there by Oliveira as he's starting to score now on Batista.
And we see Batista's arms down by his side, but I think that's a sign of fatigue.
Fatigue may be playing a part here because Batista is now leaning in and kind of laying on Oliveira, where before he was coming in punching and now he's just leaning. So he is showing some signs of fatigue here in round 5.
And he's swallowing a lot of punches on his way in also in this round.
Oliveira doing a nice job of jabbing and moving and counter-punching and slipping punches and piling up points here. And again now Batista is starting to hold inside. Oliveira digging to the body, and those body shots will slow you down. Another good right hand by Oliveira.
Oliveira seems to have slowed Batista tremendously in this round.
Batista is no longer coming in like was mentioned with the group twice. They did mention that he reminded them of Dwight Braxton, Muhammad Quai, who later became Muhammad Quai, but now he is not displaying that. He's more lethargic and more leaning and holding inside, as opposed to applying the pressure on Oliveira. Midway through round 5 here, we're scheduled for 8. Sucre Ray Oliveira, who is really a world-class fighter. He's fought on ESPN. He's beaten world-class fighters. He's ranked nationally.
He's ranked in the top 5. Actually, he's ranked number 3 nationally. Again, we saw Ray Oliveira's foot almost slip out from under him. There may be the ring mat may be a little slippery, as you were mentioning earlier in the first few matches.
We did notice that earlier, David, and we did see Oliveira slip there. right around that Corona beer sign. So it could be that it's a little slick in there as we come to the end of round 5. 3 rounds to go here, and I've got Oliveira ahead.
Yeah, that round was a turning point in this fight. Up until that round, they were both slugging at each other. Oliveira dictating the pace, but Batista hanging in there gamely. However, in this round, you saw Batista slow tremendously, and Oliveira was still strong at the end of the round. So we may see the momentum swing carry on into the 6th round.
And this is our 4th bout of the afternoon. We've got some more action-packed bouts coming up. We got Louis the Viper Vita coming up later. We've got a heavyweight fighter named Ray Ennis, who is 17-1 with 12 knockouts. We've got the IBF Intercontinental Cruiserweight Championship bout coming up, and there may be even a couple of more bouts that we're not quite sure what's happening yet, but we do have a lot more boxing here on CityLife Productions and Championship Productions bringing them to you.
We even have a female exhibition bout this afternoon. That should be exciting.
We're ready to go here. Round 6. Sucre Ray Oliveira in the white trunks and Manuel El Toro Batista in the black and gold. And it's been a good bout. It's been a strategic bout, staying in shape and taking these fights in hopes of getting a championship opportunity.
Well, he's getting national exposure here this afternoon. And I'm sure he's looking for an impressive win to open some eyes in the boxing world throughout the country.
And he's giving a good account of himself. He's done a nice job in there. As we wind down here in round 6, 10 seconds left, Oliveira's done a nice job. He's held up well, and he's shown good foot movement, head movement, good jab. And, you know, he's really in control of this fight. And
it's a great service to Sucre Ray Oliveira by Championship Productions to put a worthy opponent against him in Manuel El Toro Batista, because if just because the fight is on national TV, you don't want to put a fall down guy in there, because then Oliveira would not have an opportunity to show his talent. You want to put him in against a worthy opponent, let him go a 5 or 6, 7, or maybe the distance, so that people can really see what he's made of. A first down knockout really wouldn't help Ray Oliveira today, because often they would just think it was a mismatch.
And I must say this, David, I must take this opportunity to say that I've seen lots of boxing in the New England area throughout the years, and occasionally when you go to a boxing fight, or more often than not actually, you'll see a fight that really was a total mismatch, was not competitive at all, really bordering on a cartoon. But with Championship Productions, I must say, truthfully, that you do not see that. These bouts are competitive. Both fighters are pretty much evenly matched, and we've had nothing but action and excitement, and there's been no buffoonery in there.
We save our buffoonery for when we follow you on the road at the machine, Eugene.
Well, you'll get plenty of that, I'm sure. Round 7 here. We are live, and this is the Fieldhouse Brawl. We are on the campus of CCRI in Warwick, Rhode Island, bringing you live boxing here in the state of Rhode Island. CityLife Productions presenting them to you, and put together by Championship Productions. And I am Ed the Machine Regine, along with Dave Caprio, and we are here bringing you these bouts. And we've had a very exciting afternoon to this point, David, and we've got more coming up, and it's just a thrill to be here and see these fans loving it and enjoying it, and giving some of the fighters standing ovations, and really appreciative of their work in the ring.
Fans still filing in as I look to the door, all in anticipation of seeing a hotly contested Intercontinental Cruiserweight Championship coming up shortly between John the American Dream Andrade from Providence and Jimmy James from Virginia Beach, Virginia.
And Oliveira now is doubling up and tripling up on that jab, and he's scoring effectively with it. He's piling up points against Batista by sticking that jab in his face repeatedly. See, 1, 2, 3, 4 jabs in a row, unanswered by Batista. So Ray is really piling up the points now with the jab. Batista flinging wildly now in hopes of landing something. I think he feels he's at the point of desperation now where he may need a knockout to win this fight.
We're down to the final 2 rounds, and I'm sure his corner is telling him he needs to finish very strongly and put Oliveira down if he has any chance of winning this fight.
Oliveira showing good defense, good feet movement, getting out of the way of the punches, good head movement. Even though he holds his hands low, David, he's able to slip and get out of the way of the punches from Batista. You know, when that first holding of the hands down was, I think, made famous by Muhammad Ali.
That's been the name of this fight, is Oliveira fighting a very technical fight, racking up the points throughout.
And you notice right there, David, even when Batista gets Oliveira pinned into the ring, into the corner of the ring, he's able to slip and bob and duck out and get out of the way. So very clever defense here by Sucre Ray Oliveira against El Toro Batista.
Tell you, the viewers of City Life, by seeing a world-class fighter in Ray Oliveira. It's not often you see this on a local access channel, but hats off to City Life for bringing you this fine action here this afternoon.
Well, even though you allude to it as access television, David, you got to admit that this could go out on national TV. This is something that with the quality of fighters that are being presented here today, this is nothing short of national network television quality.
And it is on national TV. It's being covered by the Sports Channel. It will be shown nationally and in 5 other countries. So hats off to Joe Caprio for getting the authority to bring this on Rhode Island Local Access, to bring this to the great fans of Rhode Island.
A tip of the hat to CityLife Productions and Championship Productions for all the wonderful work that they've done in bringing boxing to Rhode Island and getting these fans all excited and hyped up and eager and following boxing again and following the local fighters and the local favorites, and it's a tribute. It really is. We've got 1 round to go here, David, and Ray Oliveira pretty much has got this thing pretty much in his control and the way that he wants it. He needs to go out and continue to box for 3 minutes and put this away. And I think that Batista is, really on the verge of desperation for some sort of a knockout.
It'll be interesting to see if Oliveira keeps the same strategy that he's had throughout the fight in jabbing and dancing and jabbing, or if he just knows he has the fight in the bag and he just has to stay on his feet. So we'll see if he just avoids Batista in this round, or if he keeps the same strategy and finishes strong, as he has been fighting the whole thing, and he comes out strong.
And just as we say that, Oliveira comes out flinging and flailing with combinations against Batista.
Well, he knows he's on national television, and he knows he's on City Life, and he wants to put a good showing for the many fans who are going to be watching it and throughout the country, and he wants to finish strong to make a good showing for himself.
As they say in boxing, he wants to close the show, David. But Batista has been a worthy opponent. He's hung in there. He's applied pressure to Oliveira. He's thrown some heavy shots. He really hasn't hurt Ray, but he's been in there and he's been flailing away for 7 rounds. And a well-matched fight again. 2 competitive guys going at it, and you got to give Batista credit. He is in there with a world-class fighter.
Absolutely, Ed, and Batista making a good showing for himself here today against a world-class fighter. He's going the distance, absorbing a lot of punishment, yet staying on his feet and still fighting strong in the final round.
We're halfway through the final round here, scheduled for 8. We are in the 8th round. Sucre Ray Oliveira against Manuel El Toro Batista, and it's been a very entertaining fight, and we've got Oliveira ahead, and we've got Oliveira winning the decision. We are live here at the Fieldhouse on the campus of CCRI in Warwick, Rhode Island. CityLife Productions and Championship Productions bringing it your way. I'm Ed the Machine Regine here with Dave Caprio. And Dave, it's just an exciting afternoon here.
It's getting more exciting as the matches go on. Of course, we're all looking forward to the championship bout coming up. But before the championship bout, we have Louis the Viper Vita, without question, a headline boxer fighting in the undercard here this afternoon. And we also have a good heavyweight bout coming up with Ray Innes and Mike Faulkner.
Vita coming off a win over Livingstone Bramble, who was a former world champion. So he's been in there with a world-class fighter, and he has now, he feels the experience to move on and fight some more world-class fighters and eventually get a championship shot, a shot at the title. Closing seconds here in round 8, final round in this welterweight bout. Sucre Ray Oliveira against Manuel El Toro Batista, and good action in this final round. More of the same of what you've been seeing. Oliveira using the jab and counter-punching, and Batista applying the pressure, trying to get in and find openings in the defense of Oliveira. But again, Oliveira with the quick foot movement and head movement, able to escape any offensive that Batista has been able to mount. Both fighters in the center of the ring, and they're throwing punches and good action here to finish this fight. 10 seconds to go, and we're finishing with a lot of good action. And the crowd, you can tell by the crowd reaction how much they've enjoyed it. And there's the bell. 8-round welterweight bout, Sugar Ray Oliveira against Manuel El Toro Batista, and Batista's manager lifts him on his shoulders. I don't think that's in the sign of victory, but I think it's a gesture of a job well done.
Job well done, going the distance with Sucre Ray Oliveira, who very shortly will be fighting for a world championship. So a fine showing for Manuel Batista today. He'll go back to Brooklyn with his head held high.
And a nice job by Sugar Ray Oliveira and by Batista. And we got Joe Rocco in the ring. He's gathering the scorecards from the judges as we await the decision. Nice job done by Mike Benitez, the referee. The crowd loved it. They've had a great afternoon to this point, and we've enjoyed bringing it to you. And let's get ready to go up to ring announcer Joe Rocco as he gathers the ballots, and he's going to give us the official decision.
They both knew that Oliveira couldn't hurt him.
Right, yeah. Well, I mentioned that. I mentioned that he doesn't have a lot of knockouts, and he doesn't. And no surprise, David, as Sucre Ray Oliveira wins a unanimous decision, and he literally pitched a shutout. Two judges had him winning every round, and another judge had him winning almost every round, as we are using the 5-point must system. So another big step for Ray Oliveira. He gets by a tough opponent and continues on his march toward a championship fight somewhere down the road.